So for me, in context of the two, and then being reactive, I think that what we to connect with this fourth point is the fact that I will permit me to use the word disaster politics in terms of whose interest is served in times of disaster, who benefits and who loses in times of flood disasters. Now, why would I say so? Preparedness is limited. When he says nothing is done, doesn't mean nothing, but he means when it comes to anticipating and making effort towards ensuring that we respond, we seem to have that context. If we take through the disaster phase, we always have particularly, preparedness stage being a critical stage. But for my interaction, preparedness stage receives the lesser amount of money because there's no attention. So when it comes to resources commitment from my engagement after I taught the course on disaster and context, you find that preparedness receives lesser amounts in terms of financial commitment and even capital. But response, because of agitation, tends to receive more of resources. Because water is people have homes are flooding on kind of mattresses are flooding, and then that money needs to what to provide some relief. So there's a push. It's physical, but we go to sleep after what? But what is expected to have as a kind of a proactive planning systems in terms of disaster is one that prepare or commit more to preparedness, disaster preparedness. In other words, we're able to anticipate and we're able to actually do a bit of modeling to see likely eventuality of this occurring. And we build capacities, we educate people, and then we commit resources in quite possibility we think that this will happen. And that means that even at the preparedness, it wouldn't be only providing drains. It will only be also engaging the cities in terms of how do we deal with the solid waste before the time it comes in. And we know the times that this occurs, like you cited. How do we deal with waste? What is our waste culture? So until we are able to do this, then we find that, of course, we move beyond the reactive approach to more of attempting to address the problem. But once we still rest within the context of attributing the context that, okay, bow it down, we move this time, and then that kind of, this particular will also be open at this point, then we run the risk of actually perpetuating the reactiveness of our approaches and not being able to address the situations at hand. And that is just in brief, I will say, and I look up for further questions on this.
Yes, thank you. So I have a follow-up question on that, and this is to you, Doc. If the same amount of rainfall had occurred in a well-planned city, would the impact have been as severe as we've witnessed in Accra and Kumasi? Because some have argued that it's not just Accra that experiences flooding, right? Even places, well-planned cities like Dubai and Shanghai in China have all experienced flooding. So, it's not just Accra or Kumasi. So it's not just, so you go ahead.
So that's great to say that disaster is omnipresent and everywhere. It's a suggestion of attempt to normalize it in context. But I like Prof made a mention of this. You see, we have geographical variation in terms of impact when it occurs. So in a well-organized city, doesn't mean it might not flood because we have all our technical ability, but we are still unable to control nature in context. And that is why even the city of Japanese cities tend to flood in terms of typhoons. But there's one context that when this occurs, what happens? In terms of how many people are affected, how many people are access are much more, are pushed back to seek financial support to get back to their homes. This is a difference. So it might not be the flood occurring, but in terms of the impact, in terms of who it affects, and how long it takes for people to recover. So in an organized city or a well-planned city, you have a shorter possible time to respond or recovery process after the flood. And that is in the context that people have prepared in terms of even moving belongings to elsewhere, in terms of mattresses, if you can take in the local context. Mattresses have been moved elsewhere. They have moved from the place that is actually hazardous and before the event occurred. This is preparedness. In that in the well-organized city, you have this kind of context. In that early warning informations are provided, and then that people have prepared in terms of culture and then attitudes.